One thing is very clear. The Indiana Fever is America's team. And boy, the haters, by the time this season is over, their heads are going to have exploded already. They're going to be so angry by the end of this WNBA season. I mean, it's going to be hilarious watching the daily meltdown.
One thing is crystal clear. The Indiana Fever is becoming America's team, and the haters? Oh, by the end of this season, their frustration will be off the charts. It's going to be entertaining watching their meltdowns as the WNBA season wraps up. Caitlin Clark isn't just rewriting record books, she's making entire WNBA teams abandon their usual arenas like there's a fire drill. Atlanta, Chicago, Connecticut, Dallas, Las Vegas, Washington. These teams are all relocating their games just to accommodate the Caitlin Clark effect.
Caitlin Clark is going to spend all of next season playing in NBA arenas. We've got rival fans being furious that, you know, Caitlin Clark is that she's getting new arenas, getting moved to new arenas. You've got people saying that they're pushing the Fever. Why are they pushing the Fever?
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is likely scrolling through her phone, fuming over the fact that it's Caitlin Clark's name shining on billboards. As Asia Wilson tweets about respect, Caitlin Clark is racking up 41 nationally televised games. This isn't just a schedule, it's a coronation.
There are 6 WNBA teams that have moved their games to NBA or NBA size arena.
Next season, Caitlin Clark is slated to play exclusively in NBA arenas. Rival fans are already furious that Clark is taking over bigger venues, but can you imagine a time when WNBA teams would willingly leave their home courts just because of one player? Well, that moment has arrived, and it's all thanks to Caitlin Clark.
Atlanta Dream moved 1 game to the State Farm Arena. Chicago Sky moved 2 games to the United Center, home of the Bulls, home of the Blackhawks. In Atlanta, by the way, that's the home of the Hawks. Connecticut Sun moved 1 game to TD Garden, home of the NBA Celtics. That's going to look really freaking cool on TV.
6 franchises are packing up to move their games into NBA-sized arenas, meaning that all Indiana Fever games, whether home or away, will now be played in venues that can hold at least 15,000 fans. It's not about cuteness, it's about Clark being a one-woman sellout machine.
Dallas Wings have moved 1 game to American Airlines Center, home of the Mavs and the Stars. Las Vegas Aces have moved 1 game to the T-Mobile Arena, home of the NHL's Golden Knights. And the Mystics have 2 games moved to CFG Bank Arena. All right? 6 teams have all moved their home games to ones with larger capacity.
While other teams still play in arenas that feel like high school gyms, Clark demands NBA floors. Let that sink in. 6 WNBA teams have moved their games to NBA-level arenas. These aren't small upgrades. We're talking full-blown venue escalations.
We're now at the stage where Caitlin Clark is probably going to be responsible, I'm not joking when I say this, for like games where she plays in are probably going to be responsible for like 30% of the attendance in the WNBA.
The Atlanta Dream is headed to the Hawks' State Farm Arena. The Chicago Sky, who spent last year pretending Angel Reese was the main draw, are now scheduling not 1 but 2 games at the United Center, because Caitlin Clark is coming. In fact, the only team not moving games for Reese is her own. And the Aces, home of Asia Wilson, are also booking bigger venues just to handle the madness when the Fever comes to town. And it's not just Chicago and Atlanta.
Phoenix Mercury play in the NBA arena. The Seattle Storm do. There are 13 WNBA teams, 7 already playing NBA arenas. The other 6 are moving their games to NBA arenas versus the Fever. You can't acknowledge that she is the needle mover. Yeah.
The Connecticut Sun has even moved 1 game to TD Garden, home of the Boston Celtics, just to host Clark. They don't even have a nearby NBA arena, but for Caitlin, they're willing to relocate. You know your presence is powerful when teams start moving games to different cities just to accommodate you. Imagine the chaos if Angel Reese tried to pull a similar stunt. She'd be lucky to get upgraded to the local high school gym.
So a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
We're now at a point where Caitlin Clark is responsible for potentially 30% of WNBA attendance. It's not just about filling seats, it's about a full-blown league-wide blueprint. Caitlin Clark shows up, and it's not just a basketball game, it's an event that brings in major revenue.
Now we've got some more information on the games and some perspective. Here we are. Indiana Fever put this out, man, just a few minutes ago. All eyes on us. 41 of our 44 games are on national television.
While some analysts are calling her the WNBA's walking stimulus package, it's not a joke. It's a fact. Teams that regularly draw 3,000 fans suddenly fill 17,000-seat arenas when Clark steps on the court. Where are the haters now?
Most television games in franchise history, the most national television games for a single team in WNBA history. How about that?
The same people who were dismissing Clark's hype are now silent as their arenas sell out and their ratings soar. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is probably still stewing over the lack of attention her championship received. A'ja Wilson is tweeting cryptic posts, while the Aces relocate their games for Clark's presence. The Phoenix Mercury, Seattle Storm, 13 WNBA teams with 7 already playing in NBA arenas and the other 6 moving their games when the Fever rolls into town.
This also just came out. This is the national broadcast schedule right here against the Sky. It's an ABC broadcast network television game. New York Liberty, it's a CBS game.
It's impossible to ignore the fact that Caitlin Clark is the needle mover. Before her rise, WNBA games averaged around 6,000 fans, but Clark is filling 20,000-seat arenas like it's nothing. The numbers speak for themselves.
These are all going to be big-rated games. CBS against the Sky, ABC against the Liberty. So you're seeing the teams that move the needles that they're going to play. That should draw some ratings anyway. I'm not going to say these other teams move the needles because they really do.
WNBA attendance spiked 48% last year, largely thanks to Clark. Vegas didn't just shift one game, they moved multiple matchups to accommodate her. The Aces, who once downplayed Clark's threat, are now booking bigger stages every time she comes to town. And it's not just about the games. Clark is dominating television too. Caitlin Clark is now booked for 41 national broadcasts this season. 41. That's more national airtime than most entire teams have seen in the past decade.
The WNBA needs to do everything they can to promote Caitlin Clark. And I'm not saying do it at the expense of anyone else, but they went into last season basically trying to promote anyone but Caitlin Clark for I don't know what.
ESPN, ABC, CBS, NBA TV, all the networks are fighting for a piece of the Caitlin pie. Let's be real. Clark didn't just boost attendance, she's reshaping the entire WNBA broadcast model.
Basically tried to do it to promote anyone but Caitlin Clark. And that made no sense. Because for the long-term growth of the league, you can't just promote one player. But promote Paige, promote Caitlin, promote rival.
Her games consistently break viewership records, easily hitting the 1 million viewer mark. Networks are elbowing each other for Caitlin content. It's like Black Friday at Best Buy. Even better, CBS grabbed the Liberty matchups and ESPN snatched the Aces showdown. It's clear, Caitlin Clark is must-see TV.
That is literally what they should be doing. You should be promoting every single player in this league, but not. And again, don't promote Caitlin Clark at the expense of the league, but also promote Caitlin Clark. Promote everyone more. Promote Caitlin Clark constantly. Promote all these players constantly. Promote rivalries constantly. Promote these big games constantly.
While the Clark effect dominates headlines, there's growing frustration from other players. Veteran stars are finding it harder and harder to get primetime spots while Clark consistently takes center stage. Imagine grinding in the league for years, only to see someone else get 41 nationally televised games.
America's team, yeah, guys, I mean, let's just be honest. This is exactly what they do in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys. All right, this is exactly what they're going to do, and they do every year with the Dallas Cowboys. Why? Because they draw ratings.
The WNBA tried to balance things last season by promoting multiple players, but fans weren't having it. They tuned in for Caitlin Clark and skipped everything else. The league had no choice but to adjust.
I'm sure this is because of Angel Reese. That's good. That's really good. Seriously, no, not at all. The Caitlin Clark effect is...
The awkward truth is that the WNBA desperately needs Caitlin Clark. As her face continues to appear in prime time, the gap between her and the rest of the league grows wider. Some analysts predict Clark's games could hit 4 million viewers, putting her in the same league as top NBA broadcasts. That's an incredible number for any sport, and it only emphasizes how far ahead Clark is from her rivals.
Get the point. All the Sky games are on big networks. All the Indiana Fever versus Sky games are on big networks. The Aces game, like I said, is on ESPN. The Liberty games are on big networks, the games against the Liberty. So, and there's a lot of Ion on here.
Remember when Angel Reese tried to claim the title of the face of the league? Well, those dreams have faded. The media's push for the Clark-Reese rivalry has evaporated, and it's clear now that Caitlin Clark isn't sharing the spotlight. She is the spotlight.
How many of these games... Guys, one of these games is going to hit 3 million viewers this year. All right. I don't know which one. I assume you can look at the Sky, look at the Aces, those two games, and think those are the games that could, in theory, break 3 million, maybe more than that. The All-Star game, of course, did a massive rating. What is it going to end up doing this year? So it's all going to be very interesting.
The co-star narrative that Reese's fans tried to push is long gone. Caitlin Clark is now the undisputed face of the WNBA. She's not just a player with impressive stats, she's a game-changing phenomenon.
I'm not going to say she's the needle mover, she's the needle. She is the needle. And it's just madness. It's madness that there are still people going out of their way talking about, complaining about this. Like, it's an objectively good...
Her success has rewritten the rules for what it means to be a superstar in women's basketball. Teams are rearranging their schedules and marketing strategies, all in an effort to ride the Caitlin Clark wave.
The fact that every single team that is not playing in an NBA arena has for Caitlin Clark, it genuinely just shows that... It just shows that the Caitlin Clark boom is not in...
So, where does that leave the rest of the league? They can either capitalize on the momentum Clark is generating, or they risk being left behind. Caitlin's rise isn't a threat to women's basketball. It's the biggest opportunity it's ever had. The rest of the league will either get on board or be left behind. Let us know what you think. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you never miss out. Catch the latest updates and stay tuned for more.